Have you ever wondered why some women seem to effortlessly attract deep love, while others chase it endlessly? There's something almost mystical about watching a woman who moves through the world with quiet confidence. She doesn't announce her worth. She doesn't perform her value. She simply exists. And somehow, love finds her. Not because she's more beautiful, more successful, or more perfect than anyone else, but because she carries something that can't be manufactured or faked. She carries the frequency of the feminine divine. Bob Proctor used to say, "You attract what you are, not what you pursue." And nowhere is this truth more evident than in the realm of love. The women who attract lasting, soul-deep love aren't the ones running toward it with arms outstretched, begging to be chosen. They're the ones who have remembered something the world taught them to forget. They've remembered that the feminine essence is magnetic by nature. But here's what happens to most of us along the way. Life wounds us. Rejection teaches us that we're not enough as we are. Disappointment whispers that love is scarce, that we must fight for it, earn it, prove ourselves worthy of it. And slowly, without even realizing it, we begin to operate from our wounded masculine energy. We start to chase. We start to force. We start to strategize love like a business transaction. The feminine woman, the one who attracts love without effort, has healed this wound. She understands that her natural state is receptivity, not pursuit. She knows that her power lies not in what she does, but in who she is. She has learned to trust the invisible pull of her own energy field. Think about water for a moment. Water doesn't chase the riverbank. It doesn't force its way downhill. It simply flows, and the earth shapes itself around its journey. The feminine woman moves through life like sacred water, fluid, trusting, allowing the universe to conspire in her favor. I remember a woman named Elena, who came to one of my workshops 2 years ago. She was exhausted, burned out from years of online dating, from analyzing every text message, from trying to be everything she thought men wanted. She had become a master at reading relationship advice, at perfecting her profile, at playing the game just right. But love kept slipping through her fingers like sand. "I don't understand," she told me, tears streaming down her face. "I do everything right. I'm successful. I'm independent. I take care of myself. Why am I still alone?" And in that moment, I saw it. Elena had become so focused on doing that she had forgotten how to be. She had armored herself in achievement and self-sufficiency, building walls so high around her heart that love couldn't find its way in. The wounded feminine believes she must prove herself she had always been underneath the armor. She stopped trying to be the cool girl who never needed anything. She stopped pretending that vulnerability was weakness. She began to honor her natural cycles, her intuitive wisdom, her need for beauty and softness in her daily life. She started saying no to situations that drained her energy. She started saying yes to experiences that fed her soul. She began to treat herself like the beloved she was seeking. And something magical happened. Men began to notice her differently, not because she was trying harder, but because she was trying less. She radiated something that can't be taught or copied, the quiet confidence of a woman who knows her own worth. Within 8 months, Elena met David. Not through strategic planning or perfect execution of dating rules, they met in a bookstore, both reaching for the same poetry collection. He later told her that he was drawn to something about her presence. The way she moved through the world, like she belonged there, like she was comfortable in her own skin. Elena didn't attract David because she was perfect. She attracted him because she was whole. This is the secret that feminine women understand. Love is not something you capture. It's something you allow. It's not something you earn, it's something you receive, and you can only receive what you believe you deserve. Your energy speaks before you ever say a word. It announces to the world who you are, what you value, how you see yourself. When you operate from wounded masculine energy, pushing, forcing, trying to make things happen, you send out a frequency of desperation, of lack, of "I need you to complete me." But when you embody your feminine essence, your natural magnetism, your intuitive wisdom, your capacity for deep feeling and authentic expression, you broadcast a different message entirely. I am whole. I am complete. I am worthy of love simply because I exist. The feminine woman understands that her job is not to convince anyone to love her. Her job is to love herself so fully that she becomes a magnet for the love that matches her frequency. She knows that the right person won't need to be persuaded of her worth. They'll recognize it immediately, like coming home to a place they've never been but have always known. This doesn't mean the feminine woman is passive. She's not waiting by the phone or sitting in her tower hoping Prince Charming will scale the walls. She's actively creating a life she loves, pursuing her passions, building her dreams. But she's doing it from a place of fullness, not emptiness, from joy, not desperation. She understands that a woman who is deeply connected to her feminine essence is like a lighthouse. She doesn't chase ships in the night, trying to convince them to come to shore. She simply shines her light, knowing that she trusts that love will come when she's ready to receive it, not when she's ready to grasp it. She knows that the universe has impeccable timing and that her job is to prepare herself to recognize love when it appears, not to force it into existence. She practices presence instead of strategy. She cultivates mystery instead of revealing everything at once. She maintains her own life instead of making a man the center of it. Most importantly, she treats herself like the queen she is, knowing that this teaches others how to treat her too. The energy you carry is the love you'll attract. If you move through the world feeling incomplete, you'll attract someone who wants to fix you or someone who's equally broken. If you radiate desperation, you'll attract people who enjoy being chased. If you embody scarcity, you'll create relationships built on lack. But if you remember your feminine power, your natural magnetism, your intuitive wisdom, your capacity to receive love as easily as you breathe, you'll attract a love that honors the goddess within you. The feminine woman doesn't need to chase love because she has learned to trust that she is love, and love, recognizing itself, cannot help but be drawn home. What part of your energy still believes you have to chase to be chosen? Share in the comments. There are women who walk into a room and everything shifts, not because they're the loudest or the most dramatic, but because they carry something ancient and powerful within them. They've unlocked what I call the hidden codes of feminine magnetism. Secrets that have nothing to do with appearance and everything to do with energy. These aren't manipulation tactics or games to play. They're principles of alignment that change your very frequency, transforming you from someone who seeks love into someone who naturally receives it. Bob Proctor always said, "Vibration is everything," and nowhere is this more true than in the realm of love and attraction. The women who effortlessly draw deep, meaningful connections into their lives operate on a different vibrational frequency entirely. They've discovered 3 fundamental codes that most women never learn. The first code: sacred receptivity. The feminine woman understands that receptivity is not passivity, it's power in its purest form. Most women have been taught that receptivity means weakness, that to receive is to be dependent, that strength only comes from giving and doing and achieving. But this is masculine energy, masquerading as feminine wisdom. True feminine power lies in the ability to receive love, compliments, help, pleasure, abundance, without guilt or the immediate need to reciprocate. When you embody sacred receptivity, you become like a beautiful chalice, ready to be filled with love's sweetest offerings. You don't apologize for your needs or minimize your desires. You don't deflect compliments or refuse help because you're afraid of owing someone something. I watch women push love away every day without realizing it. A man offers to carry her groceries and she says, "No, I've got it." He compliments her dress and she points out how old it is. He wants to plan a special evening, and she insists on splitting the bill. Each time she's rejecting his desire to give to her, to care for her, to express his love through action. The feminine woman receives these offerings gracefully. She says thank you instead of deflecting. She allows herself to be cared for without keeping score. She understands that when she receives with an open heart, she actually gives the man a gift. The gift of being able to provide, to feel needed, to express his love in his natural language. Sacred receptivity means trusting that you are worthy of receiving without having to earn it first. It means believing that your mere existence is valuable enough to warrant love, care, and attention. It means opening your heart like a flower opens to the sun, naturally, without effort, without apology. The second code, vibrational self-care. The feminine woman knows that how she treats herself sets the standard for how others will treat her. But this isn't about bubble baths and face masks, though those can be lovely. Vibrational self-care is about honoring your energy as sacred, protecting your frequency like the precious resource it is, and consistently choosing thoughts, activities, and people that elevate your vibration, rather than drain it. Every woman who attracts deep love has learned to become her own beloved first. She speaks to herself with kindness. She surrounds herself with beauty. She feeds her soul with experiences that make her feel alive. She says no to energy vampires and yes to situations that nourish her spirit. This is not selfish. It's essential. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot attract high-vibration love if you're operating from a low-vibration state. When you treat yourself like the queen you are, you teach others that this is your standard. When you honor your own energy, you magnetize people who will also honor it. The feminine woman has rituals that keep her connected to her essence. Maybe she lights candles every evening and sits in silence for 10 minutes. Maybe she takes long walks in nature where she can hear her own thoughts. Maybe she has a morning practice of gratitude and visualization that sets her frequency for the day. She understands that her energy is her most valuable asset, and she guards it accordingly. She doesn't waste it on drama, gossip, or people who don't appreciate her gift. She channels it toward creating a life that feels like a work of art, knowing that beauty attracts beauty and love attracts love. The third code, the power of mysterious depth. The feminine woman maintains her mystery not through games or withholding, but through the recognition that is documented and broadcasted. The feminine woman understands the magnetic pull of depth that's revealed slowly. She doesn't spill her entire life story on the first date or post every thought on social media. She understands that mystery is not about being deceptive. It's about being selectively vulnerable. She knows that a man falls in love, not with what he knows about her, but with what he senses he doesn't yet know. She maintains her own interests, her own friendships, her own dreams that don't revolve around him. She has depths that continue to surprise him, layers that unfold over time like a beautiful flower blooming. This mysterious depth comes from having a rich inner life. The feminine woman is constantly growing, learning, evolving. She reads books that expand her mind. She has conversations that challenge her thinking. She pursues creative outlets that feed her soul. She's genuinely interesting because she's genuinely interested in life. She doesn't need to tell everyone everything because she's secure in her own complexity. She trusts that the right person will be intrigued by her depth and will invest the time to truly know her. She doesn't give away her mystery cheaply, because she understands that what's easily obtained is often easily discarded. How these codes change your frequency. When you embody these three codes, sacred receptivity, vibrational self-care, and mysterious depth, something profound happens to your energy field. You stop radiating need and start radiating fullness. You stop broadcasting, "Pick me," and start emanating, "I am the prize." This shift is felt by everyone around you, but especially by men who are looking for a woman of substance. You become magnetic not because you're trying to attract anyone, but because you've aligned with your natural feminine essence. Bob Proctor taught us that we attract what we are, not what we want. When you are receptive, you attract generous givers. When you practice high vibrational self-care, you attract people who also value self-respect and boundaries. When you maintain your mysterious depth, you attract people who appreciate complexity and are willing to invest in truly knowing you. The feminine woman doesn't manipulate these codes to get what she wants. She embodies them because they're expressions of who she truly is. And in that authentic expression, she becomes irresistible, not to everyone, but to the right someone. Remember, feminine magnetism is not about becoming someone you're not. It's about remembering who you've always been underneath the layers of conditioning that taught you to be smaller, to need less, to give more than you receive. You are not meant to chase love. You are meant to be so aligned with your feminine essence that love has no choice but to find you. You are not meant to convince anyone of your worth. You are meant to embody your worth so completely that the right person recognizes it immediately. The feminine woman doesn't need to prove anything because she has nothing to prove. She knows that her value doesn't depend on external validation. She understands that love is not something she gets. It's something she is. When you operate from this place of knowing, everything changes. Men sense that you're different. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You make choices from a place of self-respect rather than self-doubt. You become the woman who doesn't chase love because she doesn't need to. Love chases her. You don't need to prove your worth. You need to embody it. What would shift in your life if you truly believed you didn't need to be more? To be loved. We've journeyed together through the sacred codes of feminine magnetism. You've felt the truth of your receptive power, touched the edges of your mysterious depth, glimpsed the woman you were always meant to be. Now comes the most beautiful part of this transformation, the integration. This is where you stop learning about love and start becoming love itself. Close your eyes for a moment. Take 3 deep breaths and let your body soften. Feel yourself sinking into this moment, into this truth I'm about to share with you. You are not broken and waiting to be fixed. You are not incomplete and searching for your other half. You are not lacking anything that love could provide. You are whole. You are complete. You are love in human form, temporarily forgetting your divine nature. The feminine woman who attracts love without asking for it has remembered something profound. She doesn't need love to complete her, because she is already complete. She desires love not from emptiness, but from fullness, not from need, but from overflow. The sacred ritual of remembering. Let me guide you through a visualization that will help you embody this truth at the cellular level. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing in a beautiful garden at twilight. The air is warm and fragrant with jasmine and roses. Golden light filters through the trees, illuminating your skin with an ethereal glow. As you stand there, feel into your body. Notice how comfortable you are in your own skin. Notice how naturally beautiful you feel. Not because you've changed anything about yourself, but because you're seeing yourself through the eyes of love. Now, imagine that you can see your energy field around you like a soft, radiant light. This is your feminine essence, pure, powerful, magnetic. Watch as this light grows brighter and more beautiful with each breath. Feel what it's like to be completely content in this moment. You're not waiting for anyone, you're not hoping for anything to change. You're simply here, whole and complete, radiating love like the sun radiates warmth. Now, imagine that you grace. This person is drawn to your light like a moth to flame, but not to consume it, to bask in it, to honor it, to add their own light to yours. They approach with reverence, recognizing the goddess within you because you have recognized her within yourself. Feel what it's like to be loved for exactly who you are in this moment. Not for who you could become, not for what you could give, but for the simple fact that you exist. Feel how natural this love is, how effortless, how perfectly right. This is your birthright. This is your natural state. This is who you are when you remember your feminine power. Open your eyes and carry this feeling with you, the paradigm shift. Bob Proctor taught us that your paradigm determines what's possible. Change it, and love flows. Most women operate from an old paradigm that says love is scarce, that good men are hard to find, that you have to compete with other women for affection, that you need to be perfect to be worthy of love. The feminine woman has shifted into a new paradigm entirely. Her beliefs about love look like this. Love is abundant and always available to me. The right person for me is also looking for me. I am worthy of love simply because I exist. There is no competition because no one else can be me. Love flows to me easily and naturally. I am safe to open my heart completely. When you truly embody these beliefs, not just intellectually but in your bones, your entire reality shifts. You stop operating from fear and start operating from trust. You stop trying to control outcomes and start surrendering to the flow of life. You become like a river that knows it will eventually reach the ocean. You don't need to force your way there. You simply follow your natural course, trusting that everything you encounter along the way is part of your perfect journey. Becoming a channel of love. The most beautiful thing happens when a woman fully integrates her feminine power. She stops trying to get love and starts being love. She becomes a channel through which love flows into the world. This woman doesn't hoard love or treat it like a limited resource. She gives freely because she knows she is connected to an infinite source. She loves herself fully, which creates space for others to love her too. She sees the divine in everyone she meets, which calls forth their highest self. When you become a channel of love, you stop asking, "How can I get him to love me?" and start embodying, "How can I be love in this moment?" The shift is subtle but profound. You're no longer coming from lack, but from abundance. You're not trying to extract something from others but offering something to them. This doesn't mean you become a doormat or give endlessly without receiving. Remember, you've mastered integrated place. You create what I call a magnetic field of awakened feminine energy. This field extends far beyond your physical body and touches everyone who comes into contact with you. Men sense this field before they even consciously notice you. They feel drawn to your presence because you radiate something they've been searching for. A woman who is complete unto herself, who doesn't need them to fix her or save her, but who would genuinely enjoy sharing her beautiful life with the right person. You become magnetic not because you're trying to attract anyone, but because you've remembered that you are attraction itself. You don't pull people toward you. They're naturally drawn to the love you embody. The feminine woman doesn't advertise her worth because her worth is self-evident. She doesn't convince anyone to choose her because she knows that the right person will recognize her value immediately. She doesn't chase because she understands that what belongs to her will come to her. The end of seeking. There comes a moment in every woman's journey when the seeking ends, not because she's found someone, but because she's found herself. She realizes that she was never actually looking for love. She was looking for herself. She was never actually incomplete. She was simply disconnected from her wholeness. This is the moment when everything changes. This is when love stops being something she needs and becomes something she is. This is when she transforms from seeker to magnet, from pursuer to beloved. The feminine woman doesn't chase because she has remembered who she is. She is the divine feminine in human form. She is love incarnate. She is the goddess that every awakened masculine soul is searching for. She doesn't need to prove this to anyone because it's not a role she's playing. It's who she is. She doesn't need to convince anyone of her worth because her worth is not up for debate. She simply exists in her natural state of beauty, grace, and power, and the right love finds her there. When you reach this place of integration, dating becomes different, relationships become different, life becomes different. You're no longer operating from desperation or fear, but from curiosity and joy. You're not trying to make anyone love you. You're simply living your beautiful life and seeing who wants to join you. You trust the timing of your life completely. You know that love will come when you're ready to receive it, not when you're ready to grasp it. You understand that the universe has perfect timing, and that your job is not to force anything, but to remain open, available, and aligned with your highest self. The promise of the feminine path. When you fully embody your feminine essence, love becomes inevitable, not because you've mastered some technique or strategy, but because you've remembered your true nature. You've aligned with the frequency of love itself. The right person doesn't need to be convinced of your worth. Recognize it immediately. They don't need to be chased. They're already running toward you. They don't need to be won over. They're already captivated by your authentic self. You attract not just any love, but the love that matches your frequency. You draw in someone who appreciates your depth, honors your sensitivity, treasures your uniqueness, someone who sees you as the gift you are and treats you accordingly. The feminine woman doesn't settle because she knows her worth. She doesn't accept crumbs because she knows she deserves the full feast. She doesn't tolerate disrespect because she respects herself completely. Most importantly, she doesn't need anyone to complete her because she is already complete. Love becomes the beautiful cherry on top of an already delicious life, not the ingredient she needs to make life bearable. This is your invitation. This is your calling. This is your birthright. Stop chasing love and start being love. Stop seeking completion and start embodying wholeness. Stop trying to prove your worth and start living from your worth. The feminine woman doesn't chase. She remembers who she is. And who you are, my dear, is absolutely magnificent. What part of your feminine power have you been hiding and are now ready to reclaim?